a magician has the power to affect another's perception like no one. So you begin to feel this sense of power. You know, anywhere you go, in a restaurant, to the waiter, to your friends in school, to dating when you're 15, 16 years old. It was a golden key and a pass that is unfathomable to break through for somebody that has social anxiety. It's an amazing tool. And you asked me earlier about the beginning of magic when I was a kid. Do you remember Doug Henning?
It sounds familiar.
Doug Henning and David Copperfield were the two that started, that I would say brought magic back.
Got it.
Magic before Copperfield came on the scene was, if you said you're a magician, you're looked at as a clown.
Yeah.
Back in the 60s and 70s, it didn't have the glam that it does today. Today's a whole different story with Instagram and everything. We'll get there. But it's David Copperfield and Doug Henning are the two guys in the 70s and early 80s that get all the credit for bringing magic back.
Right. Yeah. Copperfield being the Coke of that Pepsi compared to Henning, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We owe a lot to David Copperfield.
Okay, which you worked with or whatever, you know, so we'll get into that. So you're 13, you're performing. When did you start doing all these talk shows and becoming this wonderkind of magic?
So that night when I auditioned and was accepted, it's like I woke up in Kansas the next day. My life changed into the fast lane, into high gear. We were living in San Dimas, which is about, an hour east from Los Angeles. I made it to the castle. I said, Mom, we got to move to Hollywood. So the other half of my family lived in LA. And a week later, we were in Hollywood. My mom and I, we got an apartment on Doheny Drive. My grandmother had a house on Durant Drive in Beverly Hills, which is how the roots of how you and I met originally back in, high school days. And so we moved to Hollywood and I started performing. And then about 2 months into being a member of the castle, they invited me to perform in the main showroom. And nobody under 21 could perform at the Magic Castle. There's alcohol and drinks and bars. So I remember my mom used to have to escort me from backstage to the bathroom. But I did my first paid week in 1979 at the Magic Castle.
Just a baby.
I was 13. I looked 9. God. I came out on stage in these white tails and produced birds, these doves, and did an act all in white with music, and it was choreographed. And that, Mike, opened the door. The talk shows would call the castle and say, who's the cute little, I'm not saying it was cute. I looked like a little girl. I had this long hair.
Yeah.
Who's the kid in the white tails? I happened to be in the right place at the right time. And then, back then it was Dinah Shore, Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin. These were the talk shows of the 80s.
Those were the biggest ones, yeah.
Absolutely. So I did my whole tour of the talk shows, and then Tiger Beat Magazine and 16 Magazine and agents and producers and, let me be your publicist. And it was like, it was surreal how quickly it all happened.
And around this time, real quick, I have to get the texture of what's going on. When you're performing, the Magic Castle was like a cross between a comedy place and Studio 54. Like you say, it was so hard to get in. It was the it place. It was really cool. It's up in the hills, right there above Sunset and Hollywood Boulevard. And it's gorgeous. It's exclusive. You got Bentleys and Rolls Royces rolling up there. And there's this 13-year-old kid performing in front of the most powerful people in Hollywood. Now, after you doing your set, is your mom escorting you out of there, or you're getting to talk to like God knows who?
I wasn't allowed to leave backstage. So I'd go to the stage doors on the side and there'd be, 15, 20 people lined up outside saying, can I say hi to that kid? And I'd come out. I'd never experienced this before. This was like, oh my God. It was a surreal experience. It was really cool.